Our first guest tonight is the winningest quarterback in BYU history. Won 32 games in 3 seasons, something no quarterback has done in Provo, and you'd be hard-pressed to find one who did it anywhere in college football. Our pleasure to welcome back to the Wise Guys our longtime friend, the great Max Hall from Arizona. Max, how are you?
How you guys doing?
We're doing good. What's your summer been like? What have the Halls been doing this summer?
It's been a busy summer. It's been a fast summer, but obviously a lot of football, a lot of 7-on-7s. Rex is a freshman in high school now,
That's right.
He's involved in all the high school football stuff. We just got back from our camp actually on Saturday. We were gone for a week, so been to the beach. We've done some stuff as a family, so it's been a good summer.
Is Rex going to play quarterback? Is he feeling that, or what's he do?
You know what? Yes, he is. And I tried to talk him out of it. I really did when he was younger. I said, buddy, are you sure you want to play quarterback? Like, how about receiver or DB? Because then I don't have to coach all your teams. I can just let you go play. But as soon as you decide to play quarterback, I have to coach. But it's been fun coaching in the last 3 years. He's actually pretty good little QB, man. So
really?
I think he's going to be a really good player. Yeah, he's fast. He got that from my wife.
Oh, yeah?
At least that's what she'll tell you. He got his speed from my wife, and he still has my arm. So it's going to be fun getting to coach him here the next 4 years.
That'll be fun for all of us
to
watch.
He'll be a commit. Oh, I can't say that, huh? Talk about recruits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can. Actually, you can say anything you want on this show.
Okay. All right.
And you often do.
Is you're right. Is he going to be an early commit, BYU?
Yeah, they keep bugging him, and they've offered him already and stuff. But I tell him, hold on, let's hold out a little bit. No, man, I think he's going to be a good player. I really do hope he has a chance to get recruited, and hopefully BYU takes a look at him. But he's got to go earn it first, man. He's got to go play well. So I told him, let's just focus on having fun and playing football, and we'll see where the recruiting goes. But it'd be fun to see if we could get him up there to Provo.
Oh, yeah.
Have another haul at the helm.
Well, look, that just gets his foot in the door. You know what I'm saying? Like to say, hey, my dad is the winningest quarterback at this school. Like that should open up some doors. Like you said, he has to prove it. He has to just walk into it. But with you being his dad, it's a pretty big door.
Yeah, hopefully he at least gets him a look. You know what I'm saying? So
For
he's
sure.
like I said, he's a great kid. He's fun to coach. He's man, he even out on the field, he calls me yes sir, yes coach. Like he's just a great kid, man. He's just
nice.
Yeah. So it's I still want to pull the little hair I have out once in a while with him because he's young. But it was kind of funny. I was talking to him the other day. I'm like, Rex, I'm teaching you reads and RPO stuff and box counts that I didn't learn till I was in college.
Yeah.
I didn't even do RPOs till I got to the CFL. So it's amazing how far advanced football is now at that level. I look back to what we were doing, and I was nowhere close to his skill.
Right.
Well, Max, as a high school coach, how long does it take for you to recharge your battery from one season to the next, which you're just about to start in earnest as you get ready for another season down there? How long does it take you to bounce back?
Well, the last couple of years, the season has ended in December, and then in January we have a junior high football program. And so I've been coaching that. So I go right into another season with them. And then our off-season training starts in February. Not that long. You get kind of Christmas off, and then the junior high stuff starts. But the kids, it's amazing nowadays how much kids want to work and get out there and throw and run routes and work on their skills. So we get going again in February and then into spring ball and summer and all that. So Arizona football is pretty much year-round now.
Yeah, we got the weather for it, so it should be, right?
Is the high school off season more of a grind than college off season?
No, it's different. It's just different, because kids are playing other sports. They got other things going on. College, man, it's like we got back from break and it was right back to the off-season conditioning and developing our will and everything that we had to go through in the off-season into spring ball. So I think the biggest difference is your summers are busier in high school because there's 7-on-7 and big man competitions and summer practices, summer weights. So you got a lot going on in those 2 months where I feel like it was probably a little bit more laid back in college. as far as summer goes.
Clint on the stream says, great to see you, Max. So many great memories. OU in Dallas and Utah top of the list, and a crazy Vegas Bowl. It says, you signed a football for my son that year. Thanks for all. So nice job, Max. Way to go there. Perry wants to know if you remember the play call on your overtime touchdown pass to Andrew George to beat the Utes. Of course you remember that, right?
Oh, I think so. I'm pretty sure. What was the set? I'm pretty sure the play was 56, which 56 is a very, very simple quick game play. Basically, the outside receiver has a go, the inside receiver has a 5-yard out. But we had an option on that play based on leverage that I could signal Andrew George a route. And so I signaled him what we call the W route. So I went like this to him. I don't know why we called it a W route, but basically he would take a couple steps towards the out, and then he would come back in. And we had thrown that route so many times, and it paid off because the timing was perfect. If it had been a second too early or too late, I think Utah defenders would have gotten their hand on it. So play call was boring. I think it was just like ace right 56 or something like that, but it was the route signal is what got him.
Hey, Max, did you go jump on the pile afterwards?
I think you were at the bottom of the pile. Didn't you end up at the bottom of the pile?
Yeah, you could say I was first to the pile and then ended up on the bottom. So I went running over there, and there was a moment of panic at the bottom of that pile where I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And, there's so many people around, and I got linemen on top of me, and it was all fun at first. And then when you get out of there, it was like,
I got in.
I almost just died at the bottom of that pile. So
I got in. This is why I brought this up, because I went to go jump on, and I'm 5'6", and by the time I got there, the pile was big. So luckily, when I tried to jump, I didn't jump tall enough, so I kind of like skirted off to the side. But then people started piling on me, and then I was crawling out. And you're right. That moment of panic is like, it can't end like this. Out of all the ways that I could die as an athlete, right?
You shouldn't have been anywhere near that pile, Brian. Max got out of there.
I guess if you're going to die, though, right after an OT win against Utah.
You're right, actually.
You'd never be forgotten. It would never be forgotten.
You'd be a legend.
All right, Max. BYU reports to camp next week. There's a quarterback battle. What dynamic does that bring to practice?
It brings excitement, I think. It brings newness. It brings freshness, I think, especially because I think they have a pretty dang good quarterback room. And I think it's going to be a good competition. Again, I wish I could spend more time around the team and be at practices and everything, and kind of see for myself. I just kind of go based off what I hear from other people and talking to coaches and stuff. And so what I do know is they're excited about the battle. I'm hoping that the two guys that are already there are up for the task and are ready to step in and take that role and really push. So, but I think they got a solid room. I love what they're doing offensively right now. I was able to spend a little bit of time with them in the spring and summer and seen some film on them and stuff. So I really like what they're doing. I like where their head's at. I like their personnel this year. And I think, honestly, they need to find a quarterback who they can trust the most. Honestly, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be the one who can make the biggest and the most plays, but I think they have a team where they need a quarterback who can run the system, be efficient. I tell my quarterbacks, make the easy things easy. You know what I'm saying? Don't make the easy stuff hard. Execute at a high level, and then once in a while may have to make plays for them. But I think they have a solid team and just need a quarterback who's the best leader, manager, and who the coaches trust the most.
Max, do you ever get worried that a quarterback competition could divide a locker room, especially if you have, one side of the locker room that's rooting for this guy and then the other side of the locker room that's rooting for this guy? I only say that because I saw a little bit of that when you left in 2009. In 2010, it was Jake Heaps and Riley Nelson. And I think I told you the story before. I remember dropping interceptions, for Jake because I wanted in practice because I wanted Jake to win.
Wait, you never did that for me. What's up with that?
You already won. You already won the job. Plus, you never threw it my way. I think you were trying to make me look good. So I appreciate that.
I was smarter than I knew better than to throw your way, man. But I think with the quarterback competition, honestly, it comes down to, at the end of the day, guys want to win.
Yeah.
And whether it's one of your buddies or not, I think the guys who are out there want the best 11 on the field. And so I think, it's a close battle, or if guys are, making a political thing. But at the end of the day, coaches, players, we want to win, and we're going to put the guy out there who gives us the best chance to win. And usually once that plays out, everybody gets on board.
When you got there in 2006, there was a competition to succeed John Beck, who had played, his whole career like you. What was that like, and how soon were you able to win the job and just move forward?
No, yeah, that's great. It's funny because, I talk to quarterbacks all the time, and, as they're getting recruiting or they commit to schools or they're at college, and, they all get so upset when they bring another quarterback in, or when another quarterback gets offered or whatever. And I laugh because I remember I was supposed to be not given the job, but I was next man up. After John, it was me. And they told me that. And they said, we believe in you and you're going to be our guy. And then all of a sudden, here comes Cade Cooper. And then here comes Brendan Gaskins and Jacob Bowers and Sam Doman. And all of a sudden, there's 6 other quarterbacks in the room. And I went to Coach Doman hey, I thought you guys believed in me. What's the deal? What are you guys doing? And he says, Max, we do. Now go out and get it. Competition is healthy, and it makes you better. So I remember going into that spring, it was an open competition between us. And I think the kind of 3 was me, Cade Cooper, and Brendan Gaskins that kind of were the top 3. And it was decided by touchdown drives. So going into spring, they said, okay, we're going to give you all the same amount of opportunities, and we're going to see who has the most touchdown drives. And so I ended up winning that and ended up winning the job at the end of spring. So, but honestly, I felt probably second week in is when I started feeling like I kind of started separating myself.
Let me do a follow-up on that one. You win the job, you get the job, you take the job over. You don't have any experience, but you go on to win 32 games in 3 seasons. So is experience overrated a little bit?
Experience is overrated. I do think it's overrated a little bit, but you also got to understand I had a dang good team around me, especially my sophomore year. I think we had one of the best defenses BYU's ever had. And those guys, and they really were the backbone. And that allowed me to make some, young mistakes my first year as a starter and learn from those mistakes, and then, continue to grow from there. So I think having the cast around me I had helped. And like I said before, I think BYU has that type of team this year where they have a great supporting cast that if the guy who gives us the best chance doesn't have a lot of experience, he's got a lot of veteran dudes around him that can be there and help him.
Max, what about the experience that you had going against that defense, during the season while you were, sitting that year out? Because I would just hear legendary stories about man, he was tearing up the first team defense and, all these things. You had a lot of hype coming in. So how much do you think that prepared you?
It was invaluable. It was the best thing that I did, coming home off a mission and then transferring to BYU. Being a travel guy and just running the scout team, I tell people it was the best thing that I could have done, because every day I got to go against that defense. I got to go against Papinga and Keel and Nixon and all these guys, that prepared me. And, scout team, they want you to cut it loose. They don't care if you throw picks, right? So you get to just stand in there and learn what throws you can make, what you can't make. And if you throw a pick, it's okay. Yay for the defense. It's a defensive drill, right? So, but then when I would throw a touchdown pass, I'd tell the defense that, hey, you guys this isn't good enough. This isn't going to get it done. And so that created a sense of competition in practice that was as intense as a game. And we battled so hard. And at first I think they hated me, but I think over time they kind of started to realize, hey, this dude just wants to win, and this dude is a competitor, and I'm glad he's on my team. And so that eventually transitioned to that. But it was just my overwhelming need to compete. I hate doing something and not competing at it. It's hard for me. I tell people all the time, it's like I can't go play church basketball anymore. I can't, because all it takes is one guy popping off, and for me to get mad, and off I go 100%, and I'm going to tear something. I can't help myself. So in those moments, I couldn't help myself but to raise the competition level, because that's what was exciting to me. That's what I loved about football. And it made me better. It made our team better. So it worked out in the end.
I think of your Achilles when you tell that story, Max, even in the alumni football game. You give it all you got. Former Cougar quarterback Max Hall on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Eddie, Mountain America Credit Union, and Wise Guys distributed by the Deseret News. A couple of more quarterback questions for you, because that's the rage up here, as you know, especially going into a camp. But considering what you just said with the rest of the team, is it an ideal scenario to break in a new quarterback for Aaron Roderick? If you had to do it, does BYU have the ideal scenario to do that?
I guess I don't know if there's an ideal scenario to break in a quarterback, other than a really good run game and a really good defense. So if you got those two, you have a good recipe to break in a young QB. Now, I tell people all the time, it's like, you never really know what you got in a QB until the bullets are live and he's on the stage and he's doing it, right? Kid that's already been there, who maybe hasn't had a chance to actually play in a game yet. But I think in there, they have a dude, if not more than one dude, that they could go with. So I think, I don't know. I'm excited to see how it plays out. And I think that if you want to say they have a recipe to break in a new guy, I think a defense and a strong run game does that. And I'm pretty confident BYU will have that this year.
So Max, if you can't really tell if a guy's going to be good or not until, they're going live, and if you're in this situation that BYU is in right now and you're evaluating during camp, what's like one, maybe two, three, like your top three list of criteria of what you're looking for that would determine, who the starter's going to be?
Okay, yeah, for sure. So the number one thing that you're looking for is efficiency. It's that old saying, completions equal first downs, equal touchdowns, right? You want a guy who can move the chains. The next thing you're looking for is you need a guy who's good in the locker room. You need a guy who the guys can bond with, that they can trust, that they feel like, hey, he's one of our leaders and we trust him. We believe in him. That's a big thing. The other thing is mentally, what can he handle? How much can we do with this quarterback, and what diversibility does he have, and where is the offense going, and which quarterback fits that mold the best, which typically ends up being the guy who's the most efficient. So I would say those three things are probably the first things that they're going to look at: efficiency, locker room leadership, and what is the mental capacity. And then I think the last one is you have to create situations in practice that put him under pressure to see how he operates. Because that is going to be the difference between a good quarterback and a great quarterback, is how they operate under pressure when it matters. And so creating those situations in practice as often as possible can give you an idea of what you got.
When you look at the calendar, and August 30th is the Portland State game, how soon would you want to name your starter if you're Aaron? Or your own team? How soon do you want that done?
Yeah. It's funny. I went through this last year where I didn't name a starting quarterback for us till week one, till going into week one.
Okay.
That first whole week and I think that's minimum needs to be decided before going into game week, so he has that full week of practice. But obviously, the earlier the better. That's why the first couple weeks of camp are going to be super important, and how they organize practice and what they create in practice is going to be important to really start and get a fast idea of starting to, separate who's going to be the guy. So ideally, you'd like your guy to have 2 weeks before the first game.
2 weeks.
But at a minimum, it's got to be the starter going into game week.
Max, so what if there's a scenario where nobody has separated themselves, and the coaches behind the scenes, they're still undecided to the point where they don't want to name a starter? Would it be better to name a starter with the game plan of, okay, maybe he's on a short leash, especially against a Portland State, so we can, rotate guy number 2 in? Or would it be better to announce, hey, we're going to have a two quarterback system heading into the first game?
Well, this is what I do know, and this is me as a quarterback. I never want to go into a game as the starter thinking I have a short leash. Like, I don't want to hesitate. I don't want to second guess myself. I don't want to maybe pass up on throws or an opportunity because I'm worried about throwing an interception or making a mistake. I think you create a monster when you do that, when you give a quarterback that mindset. So in my opinion, you either got to say, this is our guy and this is who we're going with, and we're going to give him a leash. He's going to make mistakes, but we're going to give him every opportunity possible. Or you say, okay, yeah, we're going to play two quarterbacks and define that and define what that looks like and the packages and everything that you have for them until you can kind of create, or not create, until you can decide who you want going forward. But that's a scary place to be as a coordinator going into game one. Like, you do not want to be there. You want to have your guy. You want to have him solidified. You want to mold the offense and the play calling to his strengths and start to figure out how the offense works through him, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
That's my best answer I can give you.
Max Hall, the winningest quarterback in BYU history, is on the Wise Guys tonight. He's never once told us not to say that because it sounds, Max, that sounds good every time, doesn't it? Every time you hear it.
Sounds like the first time every time. I swear.
We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. In a moment, Max is going to reveal his favorite 5 touchdowns at BYU. And I think I have an idea what a couple of those might be. Might even be in his career at the Cardinals. Could be anywhere. That's coming up in a moment. First, though, the Cougar Board questions of the week are for you, Max. For folks not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online community of BYU fans. Thousands of posts every day. This one's from Dilbert. Wants to know what's going through a quarterback's head as you're deciding who the right person to throw the ball is. You get the ball. You got a few seconds. For you, there was Austin, there was Dennis, there was Harvey, there were a couple other guys. What went through your head that told you this is the right place to put the football?
Just a couple of seconds. And unfortunately, I wish pre-snap I could just choose who I want to throw the ball to and just throw it to him every time and just look at him. But that's not how it works. There's reads and everything that go into it to get the ball to the right spot. You can sometimes, maybe I might try to force this ball into Dennis or to Austin or whoever. But, man, I had a great quarterback coach who taught me how to read a defense and get the ball to the right spot. And I think that's why we prided ourselves when I was there that usually we'd have 6 to 8 different guys catching the football in a single game. So that's what made us good. And it's because I had a good coach, so I didn't have to just try to guess who to throw to.
So you'd get the ball and you'd go A, B, C. You'd just go through your reads, and the guy who's open's getting it.
Yeah, sometimes you got to read the defenders first before you even know where to go or what side of the field to be on. So it's totally depends on the read and the play call.
Your first read is usually going to be at the snap of the ball if it's single high or double high, right? Safeties.
You got to identify your safety, your 1 high, 2 high, middle field open, middle field closed, all that, which will then take you to a certain area of the field where you'll usually have a key defender.
Yep.
And then you're making a read off of him, and then you got awareness defenders. Usually only when it's man coverage do you ever have a true progression of 1 to 2 to 3.
Right.
We may have asked you this question before. I know we've asked Robbie and Jim and Steve and all the others. So was it Austin or Dennis when they'd come back? Who was always open? Like, who would let you know, Max, I'm open? Who would let you know more, Dennis or Austin?
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised you're even asking me this question.
Well, I have a feeling
Austin Collie was always open. Told me that all the time, and I loved it when he told me. He'd be like, "Hey, 1-5, I'm beating him all day. I'm beating him all day. Come on, 1-5." Even after we break and start going to the line, hey, I got it. Look, I know, Austin. So Austin was more vocal about it.
How did Dennis put up with that? Letting Austin do all the lobbying when he's over there doing the same thing?
Just more of a silent assassin, I think. He just got it done.
Yeah.
And Dennis was just so easy to throw the ball to. He just was so easy to read his body and he had such a big catch radius. I mean, Austin too. So it was I mean, like I said, I played with some really good
Yeah,
players who made me look pretty good.
Those were good dudes. Curdy, a follow-up Cougar Board question from one of their insiders. You know, a lot of discussion about Hillstead is he's 5'10". Bourget's a little taller at 6'2". Bachmeier's taller at 6'2", 6'3". But this question is, can taller quarterbacks see over the line a lot better? And that one's kind of obvious, but there was a recent interview with Hillstead where he says every quarterback looks through windows between linemen no matter how tall the quarterback is. So maybe the question is, at 5'10", can Hillstead still do it? Or when the offensive line now stands up, and you had a huge line, this one's all 6'7", what happens to a quarterback who's 5'10"?
Well, you're talking to a guy who was always – I mean, I was listed at 6'2" my whole career, and then the NFL listed me at 6'1". I was 6'1" and 7/8 at the combine, so 6'1" here. But here's the thing is I was always considered a shorter quarterback. And, yeah, when you get to college and the NFL, I couldn't see over, you know, Oswald and Reynolds and some of these guys that I had in front of me. Like, there's no way. So I had to be really good with my feet and creating angles and windows to throw the football. So that article that you're talking about is absolutely right. Even the tall guys have to be able to move in the pocket, create space, or create a window to make a throw. It's almost like there'd be times where I would move in the pocket, and as I'm moving or hitching, I already know where I'm going to throw the ball. I'm just getting my body in position to be able to make the throw. And so the quarterbacks who can do that and have really good spatial awareness and be able to keep their eyes downfield seem to do well. And I was able to figure out a way to do it in my own way and find those lanes and alleys. But most quarterbacks, even the tall ones, aren't just standing there and throwing the ball right over top guys. They're finding a lane.
Good answer and a good question. Before we get to your 5 questions on your favorite touchdowns, and we'll finish up with you, and we sure appreciate Max Hall tonight on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. When does Arizona football fire up, and is Ty and his group on your schedule again this year?
We start up here in about a month. I think our scrimmage is the 3rd week in August, and then our first game is that last Friday in August, I believe. I don't know the exact dates, but it's coming quick. August 4th is when we can put helmets on and start our weather acclimation and start hitting and doing all that. So that'll be exciting. Right now, it's still just, kind of lifting and non-padded practices. So, and unfortunately, Ty is not on our schedule this year.
What?
They did not schedule us. I think he was scared. I think he was afraid.
It was 21-0 last year. You shut him out. Maybe that's that kept him away.
Yeah, but we had a really good defense last year, and we lost all of them. They were all seniors. So maybe it's a good thing we're not playing each other. But no, I'm joking. It's a fun rivalry. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't put us on the schedule this year, but I'm sure we'll see each other again in the future. It's always fun to see Ty.
Yeah, and you guys are so good for your teams that it's fun when the two of you are on the side. You were together on the sideline. But I thought it was cool last year when you were opposing each other in that game, but both of you, you're really good friends, and you stand for the same things. And both kids love you guys, and it's just great to have that going on one field.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's bright and roll, and I think it's been a great thing. And obviously, I miss him and I miss coaching with him, but I still get to see him a bunch and talk with him. And Ty's just a great guy. It'll always be fun competing against him and coaching with him. I mean, just a blast.
5 questions for the great Max Hall, presented by Strategy Square. Fire up your company's online presence with Chantal at strategysquare.co. Tonight, Max Hall's 5 favorite touchdowns. Could be anywhere, anytime, any place. 5 through 1, with 1 being the best. And I can think of like 4 that could qualify for that 1. So let's start with number 5. Your 5th favorite touchdown of all time.
Ooh, okay. I didn't know. I thought when you guys asked me this earlier, I thought it was just BYU. So now I've got NFL. And,
sorry, we brought in everything
stuff going through my head.
We can stick it with BYU if you want.
Mainly with BYU, okay. But I got to make sure I got to go backwards, so I might mess this up. But I definitely know what the top 2 are.
Okay.
So let me give you 3, and then I'll give you the top 2 after that. But
all right.
The first one that I'll say is kind of maybe number 5 would be my first NFL touchdown. It was to Larry Fitzgerald. It was it was kind of we were only on the 5-yard line going in. It was a hard play action, but touchdown pass, my first touchdown pass in an NFL game, and celebrating with Larry afterwards. That was awesome. I'll always remember that.
Did it feel like you thought it would with all the times you were on the side yard pretending that you were throwing your first NFL touchdown growing up?
You know, it's funny. Jogging off the field, I actually kind of had that thought, like, did I just do something that I've been pretending to do my whole life, throw a touchdown pass in an NFL game? And it's just those moments are so surreal. They're just so cool, and you just try to soak it in, and when it's there and realize, man, I'm pretty blessed and fortunate to even have this opportunity, and I just threw a touchdown pass. It doesn't get better. So that definitely is one of them.
Did you save the ball? Did you get to keep the ball?
Yeah, it's right there.
Nice.
Nice. I'm glad Larry gave that back to you.
Right.
That's great.
He actually kept it, and he brought it back to me on the sideline, handed it to me. He said, "Keep that." So yeah,
Nice.
that was a cool moment.
That's awesome. Okay, what would be number 4?
Another one. Now I kind of have 2 that are right there.
Okay.
This were just some of my favorites. Okay, so one of them is we were playing San Diego State at San Diego State, and
What year?
we had the ball, and it's towards the end of the first half. Time's running out. We called our last timeout. It's 3rd down. We call a play from like the 5-yard line, and I can't remember what happened, but we got stopped on like the 1. And there's 10 seconds left, and I look to the sideline, and Coach and I signals Chevy, which means quarterback sneak. No timeouts, sneak, and there's all 11 dudes are in the A-gap, I swear. Everybody is just piled. Like, there's no way. At the very last second, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to take off that way and see what happens. So I got the snap and just took off to the left. The whole D-line pinched down, and I just walked into the end zone. I don't know why, but I just thought it was one of the funner ones I ever had.
Awesome.
Nice.
Another one is I threw a pass. This was just a cool memory because I threw a pass. It was versus Colorado State. I believe my junior year. And it was a battle at Colorado State. It was back and forth. It was a shootout. And I remember the end of the game, I threw a pass to Dennis, kind of on a slot fade. And I got rocked as I let it go. And Dennis made the catch, and he got rocked. His helmet went flying off, but he caught it. And it was one of the best catches I've ever seen. And he caught it for a touchdown. I just remember that being such a cool moment, cool touchdown pass.
Yeah, that got on SportsCenter because his helmet exploded off his head, and he held on to the ball, and it was a huge play. Yeah, that should certainly be in your top 5.
So right. I'm gonna combine those 2 because the last 3 are really the 3 that I probably cherish the most. And the first touchdown, handoff. It would be the play that Harvey ran in Utah my sophomore year to beat Utah. So this was the touchdown after the 4th and 18 pass. And I just remember watching Harvey run through dudes into the end zone and thinking we just won, just the excitement and everything, my first Utah BYU game. And it was just a cool moment. So even though I just handed it to him, he did the work. It was one of my favorite touchdowns.
And didn't you, correct me if I'm wrong, Max, but didn't you have like a separated shoulder or something that was ailing you even as you chucked that bomb to Austin?
Yes, I had a grade 3 AC separation.
Yeah,
shoulder.
And then you still did that.
Yeah, I remember the week before I did it versus Wyoming, and, my collarbone's sticking up out of my skin, and I'm thinking I'm done playing football, and we were able to get me back, but we had to keep it a secret, even from my teammates, because we didn't want anybody knowing I was hurt going into the Utah game.
Right.
So we kept it a secret. And then, that was, if you watch that play, the ball went 35, 40 yards, and it was everything I had, man. If Utah would have known that I only had about a 45-yard ball in me that game, things might have been different.
Well, they didn't, and history was made. So number 3 is Harvey's touchdown run. What about number 2?
Number 2 has to be the touchdown pass to beat Oklahoma in the Jerry Dome. Man, first game my senior year, coming off of a rough ending of my junior year. Getting to play number 3 Oklahoma first, but hitting McKay Jacobson in the back of the end zone. Well, that was a pretty cool moment. it was also really cool for him in his hometown too.
Oh yeah,
like being there. I mean, it was, and to beat that team to start the season was great.
You know, I actually missed that play, even though I was on the sideline.
What were you doing?
I was talking trash to a fan.
Yeah, well, search your right.
He was making fun of how short I was.
He's not wrong, but you were a dynamic player.
I mean, I'm like,
Max, how did you put up with Brian on defense? How did you survive a couple of years with Logan back there?
You just shake your head and be like, dude, he's a DB. I don't know. He's freaking weird, man. He's a defensive guy, man. Just cut him some slack.
That's a good way to say it, you know.
Well, fortunately you've seen it.
So Mac, you know how like in Jerry's, like the dome or whatever, how the stadium is set up, how there's like those underneath seats, right? So I actually went that far, that close. I was that close. Yeah, I don't know if it was Coach Papinga, or maybe even, I think it might have been Brian Keel was like grabbing me or something. Somebody was grabbing me. He was like, "What are you doing?" And then,
nice.
then the touchdown. Yeah.
I can't wait for your book to come out, Bilo. It's going to be awesome.
Want to help me write it?
Yeah. All right. That takes us to number one.
Yeah, number one. I don't think it's a surprise, man, but overtime Utah, my senior year. In fact, to be number one, you got to go to the end, and it was my last pass, my last moment in LaVell Edwards Stadium. And honestly, don't know of a better way to go out than to throw a touchdown pass to beat Utah in overtime. So, I mean, that gives me chills as I say that right now, because it's just, you look back and just think how fortunate I was that things went our way and that things turned out the way they did, and that I was in that position when, you know, very easily couldn't have been. So I just look at it as such a blessing to have the opportunity. And then I was so grateful for my team, for my coaches, for everybody, for all the hard work and everything that they put in, that I could be a part of a moment like that and be there and be part of history. And I mean, it's just, you lose words when you think about it, but that just is a moment, obviously, that me and I think hopefully BYU fans won't forget for a very long time.
No, and it's part of your legacy and a grand moment. There's the top 5.5 touchdowns for the great Max Hall, his favorite ones, with number one being the one that beat the Utes. And now they're looking to beat the Utes for the third straight time this year with Utah coming down here in October. Here's the last question. You know it's coming because we ask every time. You're working on completing your degree. How close are we?
Dude, I'm one class down.
Fantastic.
Got the second one rolling, so I'm on track. Get this degree done, and you know, that also will open more opportunities, I think, for me. Yeah. When I get that, so I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm excited to coach my son, and I really love the people that I'm around, and so I promised you, Dave, that I would finish it, and that haunts me at night. It keeps me going. So listen, I'm going to get it done. And
we're going to be there, and we're going to watch it because you've been part of our life for a long, long time. And I do agree that you get this thing done and opportunities will be there that maybe you never even dreamed of, but you're so close and now down to the one. And, of course, every now and then I'm going to shoot you a random text. How's your homework coming? Because I love it. We care about you. We're part of you. You're part of us, and love to see you succeed.
Hey Max, if you take online classes, I'll take it for you.
No, you won't.
Hey, they don't know.
Who do you think you are, Jim McMahon?
I'm
dude,
just saying.
They proctor those things, man. They proctor them, dude.
Hit me up afterwards. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Oh, they do, huh? They. Yeah.
Hey,
you know, I kind of want to be able to say that I did it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't want to have to put like an asterisk, like your name at the bottom of the diploma, like Brian Logan finished it. You know?
I started it. Bilo finished it. Yeah, you want to avoid that.
Yeah, you're right. Because there should be at least like 5 to 8 different people on my diploma. So for sure.
Well, we're glad you're closing in on it, and we're looking forward to another exciting season down there. Are you going to make it up to any games, or is it just too tight now?
And I haven't. We usually sit down right about now and we start looking at the schedule and fall breaks and when everything lines up. Last year it was awesome because we were at ASU, right? So I got to go, but I'd love to get it back up there to Provo. I just don't know when, but when I figure it out, I'll let you know, Dave, because I want on.
You'll be sitting right in the middle of our game day set. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
We're just waiting for you. The great Max Hall. Say hi to your family, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Love you too, Max.
Thanks, Max. Well, that was awesome. We got to end the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
We got his 5 favorite touchdowns. You said a lot of things I don't even understand. We had everything in that interview.
I don't understand half the things I say either.
You know, that's your quarterback, so, you know.
Yeah, it was hard not to, like, my cheekbones are like cramping because he always puts a smile on my face. Every time I'm around him, just even when we're not talking ball,
Yeah.
like those memories that he had, like he helped create those for me as well. And to be a part of that legacy, I'll try not to cry. Shoot, no, I'm not. Nope, don't do it. Is something that is I'm grateful for. Like you could hear the gratitude, you know, in his voice. I thought you would give me a tissue. I thought you could
I'm
hear
waiting for you to start crying.
You could hear the gratitude in his voice and for the opportunity, and I feel the same way just to be a part of his team because you know that was his team, and Max taught me how to work at this level. When I came out for summer during player run practices where coaches can't be there because of the NCAA rules, the players have to run practice. And he was getting on everybody from day one, from the minute that we stepped out there. And I remember my first practice, he made everybody line up again just because we weren't going through warm-ups. And I was looking around at everybody. I was like, this dude is crazy. Like, what are we doing? But he taught me how to work at this level and also compete at this level. And he brings competition out of anybody that he goes up against. And I'm forever grateful.